Hi, my name is Kaylee Acosta and I'm going to present my research project to you. What I'm going to be doing is the effects of small group collaboration on individual comprehension in a 5th grade English language learner classroom. My introduction, which brought about this project, is learning to read in elementary school is such an important accomplishment for students because it is the foundation for most of their future academic endeavors. From elementary school through the rest of their lives as students, children spend much of their time reading, which requires them to comprehend and recall the main ideas and details presented in expository texts. Teachers are facing reading comprehension struggles and are always looking for a methodology that improves their students' abilities to read. So the problem I would like to state today is if small group collaboration is a recommended learning strategy for English language learners, then it is important to ascertain if the small group collaboration significantly makes a difference in individuals' comprehension skills. With this said, the purpose of the study would be to examine the effectiveness of small group collaboration on individual comprehension of expository text and to provide the teacher, who is the researcher, with information data on the best strategy to help this particular group of English language learners improve on their comprehension skills. To give you a little history, this research has been done before. I'd begin saying that participants are taking part in the study. The participants that are taking part in the study have difficulty recalling facts from expository text. Therefore, the review of literature provides a preview into the inspiration of ideas that motivated this particular study. Collaboration or collaborative learning strategies encompass working together, which in turn create new ideas and are shared and improved upon. Today, educators at all levels are implementing collaborative learning strategies in various ways, and extensive research has been invested in understanding how collaboration works in the classroom. The first thing I would like to look at is collaboration in the classroom. A group of students discussing a specific topic can share their strengths and also develop their weaker skills. However, they are individually accountable for their work and the work of the group as a whole. A study conducted by Jennifer Byrne and Kathleen Clark focus on literature discussion groups on comprehension strategies in a 4th grade classroom discussing a fiction book, Rose Blanche by Roberto Innocenti. During the conversation, one student questioned, "She died. That is what you think. What made you think that?" This example from this exchange of conversation between the small groups demonstrates the power of such talk to help students not only construct meaning, but also identify the power of learning from each other. Another thing I would like to look at is the impact of small groups for English language learners, since this is what this particular group is, of participants. Small groups for English language learners provides an environment in which students feel comfortable practicing new skills and receiving feedback from their peers and the teacher. In another study conducted by CAMPS, second grade English language learners were exposed to a curriculum called Read Naturally, which was designed to build fluency and comprehension. Students worked in small groups of 3 to 7 students using literature and instructional level readers. After 2 years, the researchers found that the effectiveness of small group interventions for English language learner students at risk for reading problems does have potentially long-ranging benefits for student performance. Again, in my review of literature, I'll continue and talk about collaborative versus individualistic learning, where existing research has demonstrated that collaborative learning helps pupils to develop increased proficiency providing the learning environment is suitable. On the contrary, individualistic learning provides pupils an opportunity to set his or her own pace. Hence, in a structured learning environment, pupils should employ both collaborative and individualistic learning to promote the best results in academic achievement. Well, with all this history and research that has been conducted before, the research question that I'll be posing is, what are the effects of small group collaboration on individual comprehension in a 5th grade English language learner classroom? And I'll also be looking at 2 sub-questions. Will the students be able to identify the main idea? And will the students be able to identify 2 supporting details? This research will be conducted in an urban elementary school in a small city in San Diego County, which borders Mexico. This school is located in a lower socioeconomic area where a majority of the student population is eligible for free or reduced cost meals. 91.7% of the student population are Hispanic or Latino, and 68.8% of the student population is comprised of English language learners. The 15 participants in this study are English language learners, and they're in a rotation who are in 5th grade and are ages from 9 to 10 years old. This group was homogeneously grouped by their academic reading ability and language abilities. They are all classified as early intermediate English language learners. Their native language is Spanish and they read at a 3rd grade level. Lastly, out of the 15 participants, 9 are males and 6 are females. Now that we know a little bit about our subjects, how is the data going to be collected and instrumented? This study will be conducted over 8 weeks. Participants will take part 2 times each week. Each week, the same classroom procedures will be performed in the morning, and each data implementation will be implemented roughly 45 minutes in the afternoons. Week 1. On week 1, I'm going to give, as the researcher, direct instruction, which will be provided on main ideas and supporting details in a text. The participants will write notes in their English language arts journals so they can refer to them in the future. However, I want to make a note here. The notes that the students take will not be used during the assessments. The teacher will model how to answer the 5 small group collaboration questions, and participants will practice the procedures and be encouraged to ask questions about the procedure. This way, they know what's expected of them before we begin collecting data. So the data collection and instrumentation will take place, again, each week. This chart here is a summary of how it will be done. For example, we have A and B, day 1 and day 2. On the A's, which is the white, it will be independent reading, collaboration in small groups, and independent assessment. On B, which is the yellow, it's going to be independent reading, no collaboration, and independent assessments. What that means, for example, on week 1, on day 1A, the students will read the passage independently. Then they will be given the opportunity to collaborate in their small groups, answering the 5 questions that have been assigned. Then they will be independently assessed. Again on week 1, day 2B, the students will read the passage independently, a different passage, there will be no collaboration, and then they will independently assess. So I want to make a note here. The colors white and yellow signify day 1 and day 2, and that'll be the color of the papers of the main idea and supporting details assessments. That way, myself as the researcher can keep it organized. When we're talking about our subjects, we want to make sure we're considering ethical considerations. This study presents minimal risks to the participants and will not cause any physical, mental, or emotional harm. The proposed procedures being implemented are standard strategies for 5th grade. The small groups will be chosen at random and the collaboration questions will be randomly assigned. For instance, student 1 will answer question 1. Lastly, students' identities will be confidential and data will be kept secure as it is collected each week. The researcher will have students put their initials, first and last, on all papers submitted to protect them from any public viewing. Are there any limitations in this study? Well, the limitations that can be recognized are the study will take place in a standard classroom with a small sample size of only 15 participants. Conclusions can be limited to only this population. Participants do lack proficient English. They are early intermediate English language learners, so their native language spoken is Spanish, and all of the assessments will be done in English. Attendance can be a limitation because it is very common for various students to be absent each week. On small group collaboration days, attendance will be recorded. One less participant in the small groups will limit the brainstorming of the collaborative questions. So what is the significance of this study? Collaboration is an important learning strategy that educators incorporate in curriculum, especially with English language learners. Per the findings of this study, the higher academic performance of the students after the collaboration in small groups may suggest that collaboration with peers is more effective than individualistic learning. This study can help teachers determine if the students are transferring what they learned in their collaborative setting into their independent studies. This study invites other educators to conduct similar studies to conclude if collaboration is an effective strategy to promote students' individual comprehension skills. All of my resources have been referenced that were referenced in our review of literature and throughout this PowerPoint. Again, I want to say my name is Kaylee. My name is Kaylee Acosta, and I'll be presenting the effects of small group collaboration on individual comprehension in a English language learner 5th grade classroom to my future mentor. Thank you so much, and I look forward to working with you.